All right, I'm glad to be here. Man, am I glad to be here. I truly mean I'm glad to be here, and I want everybody, I want all the angels and my Father who art in heaven to know it. I want to give thanks to my Heavenly Father, Earthly Mother, for the opportunity that they have given me to be a light while I'm in this reality. Anyone listening, hello, thanks for joining me. My name is Shaikwa Ben Israel, and welcome to my channel, where I just try to redeem the time and use it by trying to be about my Father's business, which means to what I like to do is share my life as I try to grow and learn spiritually, as I try to elevate my spirit. I just try to share my life with you, and in hopes that you might be encouraged if you're on the same path to also continue to be strengthened, to be encouraged. Um, Let me, before I begin, do the. I like to give thanks to the angels of the Creator and the angels of the daytime and angels of the evening, found in this book right here, the Essene Gospel of Peace, the Teachings of the Elect, Book 4. Now, if you count today as the fourth rising after Sabbath, if you count today as the fourth rising after Sabbath, then that would be the angel of. Actually, yeah, I'm trying to think because I'm doing the angels differently now, and I have to think before I do the order. Let me see. Would it be uh, okay? If you count today as the fourth, if you count the Sabbath on or Sunday evening, Monday evening, that would make today the third rising. One, two, three. Yeah, the third rising after the Sabbath. Today would be the third rising. Today is Thursday. Or it would be the fourth. I'm sorry. It would be the fourth rising after Sabbath. I'm basing my count on the correction that a brother gave to me about the weekly Sabbath. So I'm just trying to adjust the reading that I've been doing on the Essene Gospel Piece to fit that overstanding. So anyway, on the fourth rising after Sabbath, say these words. Well, we're going to say these words three times together on three, okay? Ready? One, two, three. Angel of joy descend upon earth, pouring forth beauty and delight to all the children of the earthly mother and the heavenly Father. Again, one, two, three. Angel of joy descend upon earth, pouring forth beauty and delight to all the children of the earthly mother and the heavenly Father. One more time. One, two, three. Angel of joy descend upon earth, pouring forth beauty and delight to all the children of the earthly mother and heavenly Father. And we read, and you will go forth into the fields of flowers after the rain and give thanks to your earthly mother for the sweet odor of blossoms. For I tell you truly, a flower has no other purpose than to bring joy to the heart of the Son of Man. And you will listen with new ears to the song of the birds and will see with new eyes the colors of the sun and its rising and its setting, and all these gifts of the earthly mother will cause joy to well forth within you as a spring wells forth of a sudden in a barren place. And you shall know that no one comes before the heavenly Father, that the angel of joy lets not pass. For in joy was the earth created, and in joy did the earthly mother and the heavenly Father give birth to the Son of Man. That would mean tonight would be angel of power. So let's find that. Angel of power, where we read, and on the fourth evening after Sabbath, say these words. So we're going to say these words three times together on three. Okay? One, two, three. Angel of power, descend on me and fill with power all my deeds. Again. 1, 2, 3, angel of power, descend on me and fill with power all my deeds. One more time. 1, 2, 3, angel of power, descend on me and fill with power all my deeds. And then we read, I tell you truly, just as there is no life on earth without the Son, so is there no life of the Spirit without the angel of power. There is no life but the Spirit without the angel of power. Think about that. What you think and what you feel, these are like the dead scriptures, which are only words on a page, or the dead speech of dead men, but the sons of light will not only think, will not only feel, but will also do. And their acts will fulfill their thoughts and feelings. As golden fruit of summer gives meaning to the green leaves of spring. You know, the golden fruit of summer. And talking with that brother the other day, Brother Dave, he said some, he gave me a good understanding about the season, the seasons, about the season we're in. And I think he said he felt that we were in summertime now because I know he mentioned it. We were talking, and he mentioned we still have to go through dissolution, and we have to go through barrenness, a time of barrenness and a time of dissolution because of the cycles of the earth. There's a time of creation, a time of habitable, a time for habitation of the earth, and then there's barrenness, and then there's dissolution. And that comes after thousands. It's a thousands year process. These are the things that I'm just beginning to learn since I came into the OAHSPE in January of this year. And I've been thinking, I was thinking too, another thing that brother told me. He talked about his ability to do astral travel. And he was sharing the story about convincing someone not to inhabit a friend of his body. He said that he was able to, I don't want to butcher the story, but he mentioned about, because the OAHSPE talks about spirits when they cross over, they can come back and obsess a mortal, and they can come back into this realm. And he was telling me that this spirit wanted to come back into one of his friends for the purpose of, I guess he understood that when you are in the body, you have an opportunity that you don't get when you cross over, when you leave the body behind. And I agree with that, and I believe that we are in this reality, and we got an opportunity to redeem the time. And I've always felt that way, that if there's an opportunity, we ought to take advantage of it, man, spiritually. If we got an opportunity to do something that will benefit us eternally, we ought to do it. My channel is for brethren who are like-minded. You're able to deal with the boredom of this reality, the routine, the everyday grind, and bear fruit, and try to set aside a little time to devote your energy to the Creator. This channel is for you. I'm looking for brethren like you who are you're trying to use your time in this reality to worship the Creator in spirit and truth, man. I'm with you. If you can hear this message I'm bringing, my channel is for you. I feel really fortunate. I've been around the block, man. I've seen life, seen the good, seen the bad. I'm older now. I'm able to realize that I don't really I've never really missed much. I know that your mind, it likes to make you think you're missing out and you could have, you should be doing this, or you can't, you should do this or do that. And a lot of people get in trouble like that because your mind is never satisfied. You'll never be satisfied. I mean, the flesh, it always wants more and more and more. Well, anyway, enough of that. I got a room, and I like to try to invite brethren who are, you can subscribe to the OAHSPE Bible. You're welcome to come in, where I like to try to share and just try to give brethren an opportunity to redeem the time as well. You can come in, get a little bite to eat, drop a word for somebody, and redeem the time that way. And you, before you know it, you look back, you built a little mountain. See, the will of the Creator is that we unite with one another, that we gather together with one another, that we serve one another. That's why I like to have the Try to Move. I like to have the food ministry, Julia Ann Morlock Food Ministry, named after my dear mom, departed. Send me a link. Here's the email. Write food ministry in the subject line. Give me the contact information, who I can contact, so I can learn how to send the food to. And I will certainly get on it and minister to that situation right away. So I also have a room here on Facebook where I'm trying to just have a place. If brethren come to, you can come, have fellowship. Hopefully you'll see the value in a room like this where you have opportunity to share with brethren, to redeem the time that way. That's the hard thing about you like-minded brethren. We're in a situation, walking by faith is not easy, I think, for most people. I mean, we're in a reality where if you can do it, if you got the ability, man, I'm super pulling for you. I mean, really, because that's overcoming the world that's no easy task. And you got to be able to live 150 to 100 years in the future in order to walk by faith. Because every day, man, you got to put the world down. You have to put the world in its place, man. It's calling you every day. It's saying, telling you you're a fool. You're denying yourself. You should be coming out here and you should be doing this or that. And my channel is to try to help you brethren who are fighting that type fight. It's an amazing thing. We are really, I personally believe we're separated. There's a separation. I know one thing I know for sure. There's definitely a separation going on, and so far as energy wise, and I think that the light from above is creating that to the point where brethren who are overcoming, who are elevating, or we can easily speak a different language. We have the OAHSPE Bible now, and all we got to do is talk about it, and the language we use would be foreign to most people. And that's a terrible thing, but it's true. And one thing that the OAHSPE seems to be saying is that there's going to be, just like in the Bible, it talks about that separation. Remember that story that it said that the rich man, he was in torments and he wanted to send Lazarus to warn his brethren, and the angel was telling him that there's a great gulf fixed so that they that are over there cannot pass over to here, and so that those that are over here cannot pass over to there. And it's like the man, when he lived on earth, they said he lived sumptuously. And even homeless people can be counted as rich. If you don't have no need to draw near to the light, the Creator, the Heavenly Father, in sincerity and truth, you could be living on the street, strung out, homeless, no hope, and be as rich as a billionaire in the sense that you don't feel you need the Creator. You think that you have all that you need. So it's better to be poor and realize that you have a need, Creator, that if you search yourself, you'll see that, you know, assurance, relax, or peace, it's hard to come by. You need only the peace that the Creator can give. I'm just scrolling my room. There's a link in the description area. You can hit that and it should bring you into the room. It'll notify me. And I might talk to you to see if you're a robot or not. But click on the link, it'll bring you into the room. So, anyway, now I wanted to digress for a second. You know, everybody knows April 8th is coming up. We don't know exactly what it could mean. I seem to think, having looked at it, that it's a warning of a great conflict in the world. And I say that because it has a history behind it. And I believe that the Spirit is warning many people about the same thing. It's like it's a lot of ominous warnings going out in the spirit, people, their perception of what may come to pass. And I have my suspicions too. I think that the faithists, that the sons and daughters, um, I think it could represent a move on the Creator's part to move us out of the way or power from on high. I think that the Creator, one way or another, is going to mark that day. I think the world seems to know that too, and so I know that I've been talking a lot about being in the Pluto going into Aquarius. I've been trying to share what I think that means to the best of my ability. And it certainly means one thing, man. It means a change. Pluto going into Aquarius means a change. And I personally believe that not a lot of people will be ready for it. It's if you've been, maybe you brethren, you've noticed that you may personally be experiencing an increase somehow in your energy and your focus. You may be increasing a elevated sense of awareness that the world is kind of a shaky place to be because it's like you can't grab on to nothing. It ain't nothing you can grab onto for security. It's kind of shaky ground. And you know, my reality, my from my little corner of the world, it's always been a struggle. I mean, I say that because I live in a pretty high price area. It's a pretty privileged area where I live. And so people, I mean, I look around me and I see a lot of struggle, man. You know, you hear stories, you see people, a lot of homeless out here everywhere. A lot of um, uh, the places you go, the tourist areas, the the homelessness. It seems that it's just like it's spreading, and especially so in the lesser economic, let's say, economic areas, and reading the OAHSPE. Now, I can't remember where I read what I read, but it basically says that man, he either elevates in his spirit or he digresses. He goes either up or he goes down. And you need the light from above in order to elevate. There's no stagnation. It's only digression where you it's like being on an escalator. You're either on the side that's going up or you're on the side that's coming down. So this room here, it's not really for everybody, really. My room, the things I say, I realize I say a lot of convicting things to people. I don't mean to sound harsh at any time. I don't mean to stumble anybody. I find that when you're trying to be sincere, you are able to believe in spiritual things, and you realize that there's a much greater reality on the way, and that what you do now will make a difference for whenever that time, the time comes for us to uh, to leave this reality. If you have the ability to believe things like that, then that's when we reap harvest. Now, there was something in my room here that my brother shared with me that I wanted to, share with you. Having trouble finding it, and it was a good little. Let me see. I think it's up further here. I love the way the OAHSPE, the way it can speak to you, tell you about your reality. Creator tells you about his um, explaining his, I don't know what to the right word, that the creator, he explains to you your reality. I think it's this right here. The creator explaining to you, and I seem to get these type of words every time I have some issue that's in the back of my mind. I'll either read something or some brother will say something, or that'll deal with something that was on my spirit, some wisdom to comfort and to let you know uh, how the how our reality is set up. How people are, type of spirit they're under. Now, I just thought this was interesting, so I just want to share it. Something that a brother posted in my room. He said that this is from the book of Osiris. It said, Job, he said, do not think, O man, that I gave talents to men differently on earth, and there to end, making my exalted places to be even, shorn, and alike. In other words, not to think we shouldn't think that we are under we are that there's a everything is even and fair and balanced. He's saying, I did not create man so. I did not create man so. But as one on earth is mild and leads on by smooth words, talking about different types of men, different types of people, people. He says there's one on earth, he's mild, he leads on by smooth words and persuasive behavior. And as another, by quick perceiving and strong will, plunges in headlong. But the Creator says, even so, I carry them onward in my high heavens, perfecting them in their bent, in their habit, in their vibration, in their inclination. He says, but with wisdom and love, till each becomes as a son in his spirit. Now, I thought this was interesting because all my life, one of my pet peeves is people who don't know how to treat one another, who don't know how to act towards one another, whether it's people in the beast kingdom or people who are in religion. I have a problem, me being a Libra, I have a problem with people, with the lack of peace that people treat one another with. I've always had a problem with that. And the creator, he says that he's saying people are created differently. They're under different vibrations. And somebody is bound to rub you the wrong way. They bound to rub you the wrong way, man. No matter how you try to be in the spirit with them, they gonna be able to push your buttons. Now, on the spiritual side, the creator, he always say, turn the other cheek, you know, that sort of thing. Um, Bless and don't curse, because people are made different. He has different uses for them. And it's also a way to test you, to test your character, the way that you treat people who are easy to be around, and people who are not easy to be around. The creator, he used both of them in dealing with you one way or another. And he says, do not fear, O man, whether I labor for them in high heaven. I have worlds to be nurtured and coaxed at times, worlds to be pruned at times, and worlds to be commanded at times by most severe authority, and made to know that the all power lies in me through my gods and Lord. So everybody, you look at the zodiac signs. That's one reason why I talk about the zodiac sign from time to time, because I learned from them. I learned from them. I learned how people are to help me to know who the creator is. I've always used them to prove to me that the creator is real. And it helps me to stay focused. People teach me what to do. They teach me what not to do. And for that reason, I feel like one of the most blessed men on the planet Earth, because I take the creator's given me something that I can really use to always see him. Now, some people, they can look at nature, they can see something, and they love being around the trees, and they love taking walks in the forest and being around nature, and that ministers to them. And everybody's got something that it helps them spiritually to keep them grounded. What I'm going to read today is the second part of Emp'agatu, Emp'agatu. And basically the message is, it's the will of the creator to live a balanced life, spiritually and physically. We're in a time of it's great imbalance in everything, man. In the world, you got people, mostly the beast in man. The beast in man is ruling over the children of light right now. The beast in man. That means the beast kingdom, the unspiritual, the unenlightened man is ruling over the spirit man. Meaning people living on their lower vibration are ruling over us. And we're going to talk a little bit about that in the reading when I get to the reading. we don't want to live. Ultimately, man, I don't want to live. I None of you. We are we are faithless partly because we know that number one, this kingdom, everything has cycles anyway. You know, I read in the OAHSPE where I forget what book it was, but it basically gives you a picture of the path of the solar phalanx. That's the serpent and the planets. A lot of you probably ain't gonna know what I'm talking about, but the sun is kind of like if you can imagine like a string of beads, you know, string of beads, and then you have one big bead, and then let's say you got 8 or 9 beads in a string behind that one big bead, you know, like a necklace. A solar phalanx, it's like you got the sun, the biggest bead at the very top, right? And then you got a string of beads behind that, right? The journey of the solar phalanx is like you take the top biggest bead and then just circle it a little bit, and it gives the form of a serpent, kind of like twisting and turning. And then if you can imagine like a great space, say like if you were to pull that bead, you start at your waist, right? And then you pull it up like towards the top of your head. Pull that bead up toward imaginary, you know, while you're turning it just a little bit. It forms a it gives you a twisting motion. You know what I mean? Like a serpent. It's a spiraling motion. Now, just imagine you're doing that while you're pulling it up towards top of your head, let's say, right? That space from your waist to the top of your head, that is filled with like different vibrations, let's say, as that bead, that solar phalanx, as it goes through that space. Then it might be a time of wars, or it may be a time of see if I can remember some of the words that it mentioned. Um, it could be a time of learning. It could pass like through a time of learning, and then you get up to your chest, and that's a time of harvest. And then you get past up towards your neck, and that's a time of, you know, uh, let's say that's like a time of great light, realization of higher spiritual truths. You see, it's like cycles. That phalanx, it'll go through cycles. It'll go through cycles. Everything is cyclical, you know, if you can understand what I'm saying. And I have no idea why I was sharing about the solar phalanx. I did, but I forgot it. I got the memory of a goldfish, man. That's like what, 20 seconds? And I had a point, and I forgot what it was. I think that it was, I was just trying to show that there are periods, well, that everything has a cycle to it. There's a cycle, and there's an end, and then there's the beginning again. From what I understand, that's the um, the way spiritually that the Creator does things. You know, He builds and He tears down, and then He builds again. And I forgot my main point, but we have an opportunity to effect our eternity. We have an opportunity to effect our eternity. That wasn't a point that I was going to make, but um, we have this opportunity to affect our eternity. And really, we have to elevate. We can't stay on the bottom, which is the good news. I mean, brethren are going to elevate faster than other brethren, but all brethren are going to elevate. This time period that we're in, people are going to subscribe to the plan of the creator one way or another. Let me finish reading this. I forgot. I had another point that I forgot I wanted to make. Let me see if I read this again, whether it will come back to me. It says, "Do not fear, O man, whether I have labor for them in high heaven. I have, oh shoot, I wasn't, I forgot to turn on the screen. I might have even clicked off of that thing. I certainly don't want to. Oh, nope, I'm still alive. I'm still alive. Okay. Well, let me see. Now I'm in the room, so let me greet everybody in the room. All right. There's some people in here. That's strange. No, it ain't strange. But man, I'm glad y'all here. Elijah Southern, Peace Family, Creator EOE, ASNAP. Man, I hope I can get you on mic, man. I hope I can get you on mic. I haven't done anything differently, but if you try to come in, I'm gonna try something different. ASNAP's got May in here, Dave, Prince Judah. Oh man, I love that brother. I love that brother. I know that uh, check out his channel. He's got his own flavor, the way he does his videos. It's real, it's real. The way he does things, he says a little while saying a lot. He's one of them type of brother. Real easy to understand what he's saying. Very, very simple lessons that hang with you. Yeah, I'm a big fan of that, brothers. Yeah, peace, light, and love to you, brother. Peace to the ever present be with you, big bro. Same to you, brother. I want to let you know I'm with you, man. I'm with you. I just hope you don't get discouraged. You might not, you might think you're not a rock star, but why don't you ask the angels what they think about what you're doing? See what they say. I believe we're in that time where we're going to get a lot of that type of visitation, cosmic era, spiritual, spiritual realities that we ain't never seen before. Let me see what you got here. Peace of the ever present be with you, big bro. Eternal progression and much wisdom, power, and love. And the same to you, brother. I'm glad you're here. Glad that you can be here for as long as you can. All right. So I'm still trying to work with StreamYard. So I know that May, or not May, but ASNAP and Dave are probably going to cap on me when I make mistakes. So, but as we go along, we try to get better. So let me go back and let me read that. I was, let me see, where was I? I was reading from the room, and it wasn't this. I was reading that post. So let me see if I can get back to that. Um, and bear with me. I'm gonna pick up speed here. That the reading I'm gonna do is I wanted to share it again because I got some more overstanding on it, and I think it's a good idea to not just try to go over one lesson and then move on. I think that the best thing spiritually is to chew on stuff, and then the more you chew on it, the more you get out of it. The more you chew on something, the more you get out of you. The more you get out of it, and the more that you get out of things, the longer it'll stay with you. Because I think that in this reality, we learn a lot, and you forget it just as quick as you learned it. All right, now I can't find it. See that post that Dave put in the room? I was reading from it. Uh, where is that post? Come on, where is that post that he put in the room? And I was reading from it. Uh, okay, here it is. All right. It says, "Do not fear, O man, whether I've labored for them in high heaven. I have worlds to be nurtured and coaxed at times, worlds to be pruned, worlds to be commanded at times by most severe authority, and made to know that all power lies in me through my gods and lords." So I think I was talking about the zodiac signs, and they help me to they people, everybody falls under a zodiac sign, and it helps me to see the creator, like, I mean, tremendously. For most of my life, it's helped me to know that there is a God, a creator. And here he seems to be saying, like, hey, that's why I made all types of people, because you need people who are, they're good at let's say inspiration, like your fire signs, and you got people who are really good at empathizing, which is your water signs, and you got people who are really good at maybe deciphering uh, academical academia type of things, which are your air signs, and then you got your earth signs, which are can provide they can minister to you their gift of stability, and all these things are beautiful, because when you put them all together, you're talking about the kingdom of God, and the creator is saying here he got all kinds of worlds that he's raising up, you brethren, future kings and queens, and you know what, you're going to be handed one of those worlds. Yeah. When you read the OAHSPE about these different sons and daughters and the archangels, you're really reading about you, you know. That's why you want to learn from the fallen gods. It's like, there's going to be a book of Yaiquab, and you know, you're going to hear where Yaiquab went to Gath and he saw, you know, I mean, I'm being silly, but you want to make sure you want your story to be one of righteousness and not of a failure. I mean, hell, man, the creator, he says it himself that there is a spiritual realm, there is Etheria, where there are gods and goddesses, Nirvana. So we ain't learning all this stuff for nothing, man. You know, it says here, let me pick up because it's almost time for the reading. It says, for these exalted extreme gods, basically my point was that there is worlds, and that creator God, he knows what's needed for those worlds. It's the same way in this reality. People respond to different types of vibrations. There are some people that need a kick in the pants. There are some brethren that they just need a word, an encouraging word, and then they can light the world on fire. And then, just like the Nag Hammadi, it talks different brethren need different food to get the best out of them. Just like the OAHSPE, it talks about what I'm going to read when I do the reading is basically going to say that the creator, sometimes he changes up in his method of operation, because a lot of times tradition cannot keep up with your spirit. In other words, it's like we need new food to grow, to match our growth, our growing. Old things sometimes have to be put away. That's why most of the world is going to have trouble with you talking about Christianity, talking about the Bible. Because, see, we are outgrowing these things, we're exposing these things. I know, I'm out in the room. I, I'm afraid to be doing too much to this screen. I'm going to try, though. Let me try. See if I can make it work. See if I can look at the screen, look at the chat, and then look at what I'm reading. Because somebody may want to come in the room. Okay. Now let me see if I can make this work. Okay, so and there you have it. I lost where I was reading. Ah, let me find it. Ah, where is it? There's got to be a better way than doing it like this. I lost where the post that I was reading from. Is there another? All right, everybody, just bear with me for a second while I look for that post again. I'm bound and determined to read that thing. That was a great post, David. Actually, I think I know why you sent it. The reason, why you sent it. Let's see. It shouldn't be taking me this long. Isn't that something? I was just on it. Okay, here it is. This is amazing, man. Shouldn't have took me that long to get back here. All right, so I was reading this. It said, "For these extreme gods I have placed in places in the firmament, and numberless worlds on which they dwell as stars in my heavens. These I make roadways for my traveling corporal worlds, where my Etherian fields of pasture lie, to glorify me and lead on the mortal born, so now, to my commanding god Osiris, who ruled in Lostine most amiably with equals, but was high strung with impatience towards self-willed ignorance. I brought the undisciplined earth to feel his giant power." So basically, people, they need different forms of motivation, and you got people for that. And the creator's saying that he places people in his world where they are needed in order to be of benefit to mortals, to get the most. It sounds like to get the most out of them. So to put it simply, but this post, brother, thank you for this post, Dave. I appreciate it. Helping me to remember that they're brethren, that they have a different flavor. They have a different flavor, and they are created for different purposes. Let me see. Good works or service unto others to benefit for the all in all. Yeah, that's right, Prince. That's the bottom line right there. I mean, everywhere you look in OAHSPE, the will of the creator is easy, man. Even what we're going to read, I might as well, let me go into the metaphysical word real quick, do the metaphysical word, and then I'm going to go into the reading. And I have a sister that loves to bless. She loves to bless me with the metaphysical word. And I'm telling you, man, I love to share this, the metaphysical word of things, because it helps even the creator. He can even use corrupted works like the Bible to bless you. So the metaphysical meaning of the word Machpelah. Now, Machpelah is Hebrew for double cave, equally divided, double, twofold, manifold, folding, winding, spiral form, portion, part. Okay. Historically, it's a field before Mamre in Hebron that Abraham bought. Now, the metaphysical meaning of it is the subconscious body substance, a field in which there was a cave. Abraham and the others who were buried in this cave represent higher awakening thought activities in us. When these thoughts have done their work in the conscious realm of our mind, for the time being, they give way to other succeeding activities of the mind while they sink back into the subconscious. There they take deep root in substance and continue their work, which is not apparent to the outer conscious thinking phase of mind. They work out in the body consciousness, thus aiding and raising the whole organism to a higher plane of expression. It kind of sounds like a mustard seed. You get a thought, righteousness, and it starts to, it gets implanted, it starts to germinate. And what you previously had in your subconscious comes out in your conscience. Talking about the process of sons and daughters, Vedas, how we eventually come to maturity. It says the mock is described as mock pillar, which is a cave, and it's using it like the creator is using it like. Now, this is a brother who's giving us his gift of overstanding the metaphysical. So you have to decide for yourself whether the brother is anointed, his overstanding. You have to decide for yourself. I mean, it's a harmless teaching. And spiritually, you should, I can't speak for anybody, but it's basically helping us to see different mindsets of people, the vibrations that we are under, how we grow, what is spirituality, how we can use it to our benefit, how we can cast out things that are they vex us, they afflict us. Well, here's the word Machpelah, and it means a cave. It means a field and a cave. It's where Abraham and Sarah were buried. But metaphysically, it's being used as the subconscious body substance. Subconscious body substance. So it's basically saying that we receive, say like we come to the light, and then it's going to go into our subconscious, and then we work it. And then at some point, it says, it's going to take deep root. See, we're going to be feeding it, just like a plant. Going to be watering it, going day by day. It's going to be growing. We know not how. Like Jesus Christ said about he was speaking about something. I forget what it was. It takes deep root. And continues to their work, which is not apparent to the outer consciousness thinking phase of mind. It's like people say, man, you're growing or you're changing, and you yourself don't even see it. It says they work out in the body consciousness, thus aiding and raising the whole organism to a higher plane of expression. Really talking about the miracle of us. The miracle of us, man. Beautiful thing. All right, so that's the metaphysical word. About time for the reading. So let me see if I can switch over to that without blowing anything up. Now, I don't even know if that this screen can be seen in the room, so I'm gonna have to work some magic. Let me see if I can work some magic. I gotta see if the screen, if it's even on, if you can even see it in the room. I'm gonna be doing this for the reading. Let's see. Now I don't see it. Now I'm gonna have to work some magic here. Now, how can I do this? How can I work this magic? Let's see. How can I do this? How can I work this? Okay, let me try this. I'm trying to put a screen up. I messed up and I separated it. Trying to get it back. Let's see. This is what I want to do for the reading. Okay, I'm gonna have to get creative here. Let's see. Let me get a little creative. A little creative. Let me get a little creative. All right, I did it. Oh man, that's amazing. All right, I did it. I did it. I did it. Now, where's StreamYard at? Okay, now I think I'm ready. Now I think I'm ready. I gotta find StreamYard again. Okay, I got about 1 billion screens I'm looking at, so I'm trying to get to the right screen. Okay, there we go. All right, so for the reading of the word, let me shorten this screen right here so I can okay. The name of the video is Potency of Emp'agatu, Emp'agatu Part 2. Now, I wanted to do this again because I got some new overstanding on it. Now, basically, I'm gonna just give you a summary of what I'm going to be reading in case you can't hang out with us. The importance of this reading right here is going to be to show you that one is going to show you how the creator operates and how he works through language, how language came to us, why it's modified over time, and that through language, light language, we draw nearer, we become more identical to the creator. And so basically we're gonna learn a little history of how he works with us through words, which he calls signs and symbols. And the better that we learn as we elevate in our spirit, we're going to learn what he calls light words. If you ever wonder how, like, to give you an example, how, like, let me see, words, they can effect results. Okay, I think that's a good way to put it. As we grow and we learn, we're going to learn to be able to, as we progress, we, according to what we learn through words, we will be able to, we will have the knowledge to, I know what I want to say, but I don't want to, we'll be able to do changes in our reality. How's that? Does that make sense? We are going to come into spiritual power as we learn and we elevate according to the signs and symbols which the creator he calls words. It's going to show us the importance of um like root words. There are certain root words that are more powerful in spirit when spoken. It doesn't go into it that much here, what I'm going to read. This is kind of like a setup to get us to appreciate how words, they will help us to live balance, to achieve balance in the body and the spirit. Because that's the will of the creator right there. To live in balance with the spirit and body. Because like even right now, you got people who they're overly spiritual and they don't have any, they just, there was a saying in the world that sometimes people would say about somebody else, like they're so earthly minded, they're no heavenly good, that sort of thing. And so, what the Creator is going to teach us, what we're going to learn from this, His will is that we are of some earthly good and spiritual good without, you know, having one and the other. And that gives us a fullness of who the Creator is. Right now, it's like when you live in imbalance, when we're imbalanced, then we cheat ourselves. We're not approaching the fullness of the faith. We're kind of like we're 60% of one and 40% of the other, or 70% of one and 30% of the other. So I hope that helps to summarize what I'm getting ready to read here. Hopefully you can hang out, and uh, just by me reading it, you'll be able to get more out of it than what I'm trying to share with you. So let's go ahead with the reading. May the Heavenly Father bless the reading of His Word. This is the name of the video, the Potency of Emp'agatu, Part 2, and it's a OAHSPE study in faithism. Now, you can read this, stop the screen and read that. I'm going to start down here. Let me see if I can make the words bigger. That'd be nicer, probably, if I can make the words a little bigger. That's too big right there. Get them down a little bit. All right. That's good enough right there. All right. May Heavenly Father bless the reading of His Word. It says, now, Jehovah through His gods meant for man to balance corporal with spirit. The example of the median faithist, those above the first degree and the median degrees, then it gives you the reference. And basically, the median degrees, it's like these people here, the medians, when it says the medians, they were a group of people and they were elevated in their spirituality. It's like they were more concerned with the spirit than they were with the physical. And the Creator is saying he wants them to be balanced, more balanced. And we're going to learn as we get towards the end of the reading why He's saying that. And I'll just give you a spoiler alert. I'll just tell you anyway that the more balance, when you are balanced, then that's you actually becoming like the Creator. The more balance that you achieve. And so the median, it says here, the median degrees, the first degree is like, it's like equal to like believing, okay? And then the degrees above that, it's like more powers, knowledge. So it says the median, Jehovah through His gods meant for man to balance corporate with his spirit. It said the example of the median faithists, those above the first degree and the median degrees, showed man how to do this. Emp'agatu, now Emp'agatu, that's something that if you get the overstanding on what Emp'agatu is, then you home free with this reading. You home free. So we're going to look at who Emp'agatu is, what it is, and you be pretty much home free from there. I won't even really need to go into a lot of the reading. Let me stretch this screen. All right, now Emp'agatu, it says, reading from the book of Emp'agatu, it says, Emp'agatu said, I am the son of Simon, son of Jehovah. I am the change of voice of the seen and unseen. No man can measure my mysteries. I travel with the growth of morals. Basically, what it is this is the spirit that teaches us to come up with language. it says he's the son of Samoan. See here, Samoan? Samoan has to do with written language. Emp'agatu has to do with allowing man to speak, form words, lettering. Emp'agatu is a son, or is how can I describe it? Is it allows man to like go from the basics, the very beginnings of his learning to communicate, from like making grunt sounds, you know, to eventually being able to think and put words together. I hope that helps explain who Emp'agatu is. And it's being in this reading here, he's being sent, or let's hold on a second, that's the wrong screen. Go to the right screen. Where's the right screen? Okay, I think this is it right here. Yeah, it is. And I switched around. I don't know if you I hope I didn't mess up. But anyway, Emp'agatu is who was sent to this group of people here, the median faithists. And the median faithists were going to use Emp'agatu in order basically to spread the language that eventually would lead to the language that we are speaking right now. But it was going to allow man to progress to the point where he could take the original words. In other words, he was going to be able to speak in such a way that he could connect with the creator. Okay, I hope I'm saying that in a way that you can understand it. So it says, the example of the median faithists, those above the first degree of the median degrees, meaning they have reached the level of faith. It says they showed man how to do this, which means balance his spirit with his physical self. It said Emp'agatu in particular provided the medians with a language and conceptual base from which to accomplish this. That is, the rites and ceremonies, the degrees, and even his laws became interpreted through the lens and use of the Emp'agatu. That's the spirit that helps man to, it's like, first he learns his ABCs, and then he learns, like words, and then he learns compound words, progression of language, basically. And then it says the necessity of the median's existence stems from the fact that the full-fledged faithists, being those who took the rites of Emeth Chava, that has to do with some testings that the spirit underwent with to reach a certain level. It talks about it in the OAHSPE, a spirit that had to deal with entities from the corners of the realms of the earth, the southeast, the northeast, the northwest, southwest, the corners where the demons come from. So basically, these were people who had progressed to a certain level. The median's existence. Uh-oh. Is somebody telling me that they trying to get into the room? Sorry, brother. I got to look at this. Okay. So let me see. It says the necessity of the median's existence stems from the fact that the full-fledged faithists, being those who took the rites of Emeth Chava, were less concerned, if at all, about building much in corporate. So the Medians, they didn't have much concern for trying to how can I say this? They didn't have much concern for the physical, for their the I don't know what word I'm looking for. They didn't have much concern for the corporal part of their being. They were like all into spirituality, and instead, for their purpose was to build in their soul. They were more concerned for their soul than anything. Sounds like they didn't much. They didn't. They were uh, denying physical things, or it says even the Zarathustrians of the previous cycle turned from corporate to build in their spirit. Because of them, because of them, man in Speda could marry and beget children while not losing the voice of God. So it sounds like he was neglecting his physical carnal self, and that creates an unbalance. And in Speda, the Zarathustrians, they were more dedicated. It sounds like they were more dedicated to the spirit than they were to their physical part. It says, or at least by then, man had the capacity for it, even as Abraham and Brahman demonstrated. Even Poe and his Iesu marriage symbolically signified this, that man and woman as celibates could live together as husband and wife. Iwata, on the other hand, showed that man could be of the earth and its concerns while yet living a fulfilling life of spirit and soul. Recall that Jehovah named him Iwata, meaning spirit and flesh. So it's like, if I were to summarize this, in our reality, I think there's a big imbalance in the sense that you got to survive in this world. You got to work, man. You got, where I'm going with this. The trying to have a relationship, and the world really is good at getting in the way, so that it take away your ability to sow to the spirit like you wish you could. You have to sow to the flesh more than you can the spirit. You have to dedicate your um, you have to dedicate your, you know what I mean, your energies. It's very little time for spiritual pursuit. And that's the will of the creator, is that we balance, that we, as best we can, we balance the reality of the physical self and the spiritual self. It says, although being Iesu, it says, and celibacy is on the path towards it. Although being Iesu was the all highest rise available to man, yet such could not fulfill the earth, couldn't propagate, couldn't replenish the earth. It said for that to happen, there had to be a middle way, a way to propagate, partake of the animal nature, without losing one's spirit in the process. And then it mentions YouTube. There's a story of YouTube, and from what I could recall, could not I think uh, couldn't bear children. Was that YouTube? I think couldn't bear children, but desired to, or the creator was telling her that she was going to have a family, and she didn't think she could, and she was set up to have a family. YouTube, it says YouTube in particular demonstrated, albeit unwittingly at the time, how this could occur. And then with her family as living example, taught the faith this about bringing forth children with strong awareness of spirit and functioning spiritual abilities, abilities. It says, thus Jehovah's angels initially taught the median way of life to man in the faithless nations of Gautama. Teachings and lifestyles spread around the world to all places. Along with those teachings came the Emp'agatu. Now, the Emp'agatu, their thing, their specialty, their blessing was to teach man to progress in his through language. To let me see, what's a better way to put it? To use let me see, trying to think of a better way to put it. He taught man to not stay stagnant in language. He taught Emp'agatu teaches man to elevate in his words, to create new words that are more beneficial for your spirit. Not to always look back at the ancients and what they knew. We have to, the food, let's say it like this, the food that the ancients had, it's enough, it's good for them, but for us, we need different type of language, word, food as we grow. In other words, we're like, the more generations that come, the different type of wording and light we need are different so that we can grow that's appropriate for our spiritual growth. It says some 50 years into the Spita Danha, the time of light, the kingdom of Jehovah's God is given Emp'agatu the ability to elevate in their spirit. I'm just giving it my own definition for the sake of understanding. To the medians for them to focus their thoughts. Specifically, it shows them how to live in order to sustain their spirit, and in particular, their spirit. Emp'agatu, given to the medians for them to focus their thoughts. Especially, it showed them how to live in order to sustain their spirit, in particular, their spirit. Although a person's soul, spirit, mind, and spirit forms were not neglected. So it's like the median faithists were so caught up in only the spiritual, the things of the soul, that they were neglecting the physical. And it's like you don't care for anything physical about you, and you end up doing harm to yourself because you're neglecting that part of you that's allowing you to elevate in your spirit. So we got to have that balance. We have to have a balance in our physical. So the body, it is profitable. It's profitable. It says Emp'agatu, which is a spirit. Emp'agatu is a spirit. It's a spirit. It says Emp'agatu further showed and shows man that the spiritual elements he will encounter here on earth and how to live so that he may remain in the spiritual awareness all the time. And that in turn allows him to experience through his spirit the corporeal life. The tablet and its teachings also revealed and to this day still reveal to him how to navigate the spiritual landscape in order for him to build his spiritual talent. So it's like a trade-off. We're here, we're in the body. The purpose of it is to make use of the corporal faculties of the body to help us elevate in our spirit. If I'm not mistaken, we need the body to help to teach us spiritual things, and spiritual things help us to not be defeated by corporeal things. Say like, we live in a world where people, like I was saying, there's an imbalance. The body, it takes over a lot of people in the sense that, let's say, they may be alcoholics, and there ain't no room for spirituality there. And a lot of people, they get in bondage all the way to the end. You see where I'm going? There's no balance there. One is overrunning the other. It says, as Emp'agatu became rooted in man's soul through the median Vetus, so the front half of humanity in the grades readily adopted the teachings of Emp'agatu. So the upper grades, the upper elevations, the higher graded spirits, they immediately caught on. The OAHSPE, it says that it's easy to govern over kings and queens, and in other words, the higher elevations. It says, but it says it here too. It says, and the lower grades tended to follow, but that's not what it said in the other part that I was quoting in the OAHSPE. It said that the struggle, it came with the lower grades, and the lower grades in another place in the OAHSPE. It said the language that evolved from the Hamite medians being mainly centered around Emp'agatu became the Phonetic language, which was the fifth major branch of man's languages. And then if I try to go to it, let's see if I can make it there and not mess it up. Okay, that wasn't it. Here it is right here. Here it is right here. The Phonetic language right here. See, it's like here, what you're looking at now, it's like the progression of language. The progression of language. Here it started with Pan, which was the first guttural sounds, approximating words like hey, and then there was poet, the beginning of labial word sounds like aspirin, application, paper. Those are like labial sounds. Like you make with the lips. The guttural sounds is like from the gut, like gas, uh, ugly. Those are like guttural sounds. And then gal is like, what does it say? It gives the footnote, helps us. Gal is like, it says the first use of language to prove things, never being the introduction of primitive logic into man's culture. So let's just say like language was here on the earth, and then two people meet each other and they see a tree with oranges on it. And the guy says, orange. He don't use the sentence. It's just like, that's the first use. That's gal. That's called gal. The first use of language. Presumably the first use of language. And then the first Hayat, the first accepted language. Acquiesce means like to accept something, to receive something. And then Fus, the written word. And then Chine, monosyllable words like monosyllabic, like super supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. If you say it loud enough, you sound awful precocious. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. If you say it loud enough, you'll sound awful precocious. That's monosyllabic. Monosyllabic. Combination words. But anyway, you can see the progression all the way up until modern day, which is cosmic. You know, after language evolved into Phonetic, Abram, Phonetic, Aham, Ibra, Vedi, Sanskrit, Arba, Algonquin, Greek, Latin, French, Spanish, Germanese, and within these languages and forms of language come all your sub dialects. But basically, what we're reading here. Let me go back to the reading. Is showing us that on a practical level, how Emp'agatu plays a part in our reality. It teaches us basically to advance, to make progress in our language, and it does it because our soul requires elevation, and that is what gives us, it makes us godlike in our understanding as we learn to use words and symbols. It helps us to elevate and to grow closer into godlike beings. In other words, it helps us to become anointed, and it helps us to be anointed spiritual beings. Let me read some more and see if you can get some, if I can let, just by reading, you can get a deeper understanding of what I'm trying to share with you. It says, Emp'agatu. Now remember, Emp'agatu is a spirit. It's the son of Simoan. Simoan was the son of Jehovah. It's a spirit. It says, as Emp'agatu, the ability to understand the progression of language, words, and symbols as it became rooted in man's soul through the median fetus. So the front half of humanity, the higher elevations first, it started with them. They readily adopted the teachings of Emp'agatu, and the lower grades tended to follow. The language that evolved from the Hamite medians, being mainly centered around Emp'agatu, became the Phonetic language. So it's just talking about a progression that I just got finished showing you. See, Phonetic, Phonetic is okay. Phonetic is following the sound, but not the signs. I don't want to go down that road because I'll end up confusing. I'll probably end up confusing you. But it follows after men had gotten to the point where they could use monosyllabic words, they could use combination words, and then they began to follow the sound, but not the signs. In other words, it's like using sounds in place of the writing. I don't know how to give a good example of that. Maybe you could think of one, but let me keep reading. It says the Hamite medians, being mainly centered around the spiritual Emp'agatu understanding. I'm putting that in for the sake of trying to give some greater understanding. It says the Hamite medians, being mainly centered around Emp'agatu, became the Phonetic language, which was the fifth major branch of man's languages. See the tree of language. And then it says, and through the Abram Phonetic language limb, which its subsequent branches, the medians circumscribed the globe. the Hamites, the Medians, remember the Medians, the Median faithists, remember? Their emphasis was on the spiritual. The Median faithists, their emphasis was on the spiritual, and then the Creator, he sent the Emp'agatu, the son of Simoan, to teach them to balance the spiritual and the physical. And then it says the Hamites carried the root everywhere, and I'm thinking that it's talking about the uh, well, no, I better not comment on that because I'm not sure on that. I'm not sure on what it means when it says the Hamites carried the root everywhere, but it sounded like a progression of light language, a closer, a higher understanding of light words that will elevate man more and more to the Creator. It says, on the other hand, when adopting the Midian teachings, the other language limbs of that tree incorporated the teachings into their own language. It says, yet even as Jehovah's kingdom gave Abraham the name of Creator, Jehovah, to carry around the globe, so his kingdom gave Emp'agatu to the Hamites for that same purpose, to carry its words and meanings around the globe. It says, not surprisingly, when the Emp'agatu first came to the Medians, they could not foresee the course it would set them and future man upon. They only knew that it promised them a way of life of spirit while also allowing them to build the fullness of the physical realm. So the Hamitic Medians embraced Emp'agatu with full hearts. It became their sacred tablet, their holy words, and because of that tablet, and from their taking its words and concepts to heart, so it happened that those who held to it most dearly, those proud but mindful, upward aspiring median faiths, did not fall to Deus and his ilk, such as Anubi, when those wayward lords and high-ranking officers of the lower heavens came openly false to Jehovah. And when you read New OAHSPE, it talks about that testing that an initiate or what do you call them? It talks about what happens when you meet up with these gods from the northwest, northeast, southwest, southeast. You know, they come from the corners, but because here the Median faithists, they had already elevated in their spirit, but they also joined with the balancing of the physical, because the testing that the deists did, it was both spiritual and physical. If you read the account, is what I'm trying to say. See, Anubi was a fallen god. He fell. I can't really go into that right now. I'll get all jumbled up, and you can't understand me now. So I can't try to add to it, going somewhere else in the study. But it said that the Median faiths, basically, they were well prepared for the dais, for the deception of Anubi, Anubi, and it gives you that account in the OAHSPE. If you read the story of Anubi, and then it talks to you about what this one, I'll say, spirit went through, and he passed the test. He passed it. He knew it was in his. He knew what to say. He knew what to do. You know, and so it's like a warning for us that the balance, when we have when we have a spiritual balance with the physical and with the spiritual, then we're able to, in other words, let's say like, if I'm subject to something fleshly, then that's where I'm gonna get attacked from, to make me fall and make me think in my spirit. Even right now, as we live, that's where we're going to get attacked. In order to, the world calls it putting your light out. to put your light out. But see here, the Emp'agatu, they taught the medians through signs, symbols, and words. They might fall, but you can still maintain your spirit. You can still maintain your spirit, and words can help you. Spiritual words. You're learning, it can help you. Because some people, you can be taken in by, you can fall to dais here, you might never get back up. We'll never see you again, if I'm not mistaken. See, that's the importance. Elevating in your spiritual and your physical, and you can do that as you learn to progress. And basically, what the Bible calls spirit taught words. Remember, the Bible talked about spirit taught words. Oh, I wasn't even sharing the screen, man. I'm back here. Sorry. I wasn't sharing the screen. Man, I better get out of this. I better get out of this and go back to the to the studio. Yep, people been posting. Just like I knew they would. I'm back in the chat now. I'm looking at the chat. Man, I'm afraid. I'm still afraid. I have had this StreamYard for a couple of days now, but I'm still afraid to do too much with it, man. It's I didn't realize it was this tough trying to keep an eye on all these things here and keep thinking about what you're saying, trying to make sense. But anyway, I'm in the chat now. Let me see. Let me see what's going on. David said the tablet of Simon was given to the eye hand early in the creation, symbolic standing for words that man uttered. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The eye hand, and it was also given to Emp'agatu, Emp'agatu, the tablet of Simon, for the purpose of helping man to uh, not stagnate in his understanding of words. That Emp'agatu was going to help man to make words appropriate for his spiritual elevation. See, Dave, he says, in the time of Zarathustra, it was then given to the gods and OAHSPE, symbolized by a book. I don't know what you mean by it. Emp'agatu, probably. And then let's see, Dave. Thanks for sharing, Dave. Appreciate you sharing. And Asenath said Yudh had Brahma had 7 children. Yeah, the last child, Hove had no suis abilities at all. The other 6 children, Brahma and Yudh, were all suis. Okay. Then Asenath says that makes sense. His languages were the first thing destroyed at the ziggurat of Babel. Okay, I don't know what you're responding to, but yeah, and OAHSPE too. I think that if we read on, if we go further, we see that he eventually fell, and um, I I can't recall, but I think he had something to do with us digressing to where we had to wait till Cosmin before we would get the Emp'agatu back to where we would revisit the light, the I don't want to confuse anybody, but we began to revisit the knowledge that we had lost through words, signs, and symbols. We begin to revisit in Cosmic and recover our elevation. Now the problem Um, the problem, I'm gonna still stay on this for my next video because I'm gonna keep digging at it because as you can tell, I'm still kind of incomplete in trying to share about empatagua. So I'm gonna hang out. I'm gonna hang out here for a while, and I know as I keep on, I'm gonna get more and more out of it. I love what I'm getting out of it already. And it seems that the importance of knowing about empatagua is that, see, right now we're going through a period where we're leaving a lot of people behind. I mean, the gap is getting greater and greater because we're evidently, empatagua is teaching us to put away the old and to adopt the new. That's one of the heaviest things about I can't say that name, man. Empatagua. Empatagua is a spirit, and it's teaching us to learn, like the Bible says, spirit taught words. And that is elevation. Sometimes we come up with words to help us more closely align with the spirit. See, what we're talking about here that's interesting to me, we're really talking about the area of Gemini. This is their this is their wheelhouse. These things I'm talking about right now. This is the wheelhouse of the sign Gemini, man. It shows you how all the signs have power. I mean, they got power, man. And it just so happens that doing a study on the part of the creator that shows how Gemini has some serious power, man. Serious power. Because it's through words that we all get knowledge of the creator. And that is their thing. Communicating words. Is somebody trying to tell me I'm not broadcasting? Why is my phone going on? Am I broadcasting? I know I am. Nope. I'm cool. I'm all good. All right. Well, anyway, yeah. So I'm going to let that be the concluding of the video. I'm going to pick it up again tomorrow, pick up where I left off. I'm going to keep digging on this so that I can uh, help to try to give a greater understanding about basically the themes here in this reading is about wording, it's about words and their power, words as symbols, even words as idols, and how the creator God, he uses them, and how he teaches that is one way that we draw nearer to the Heavenly Father. How empatagua was going to make us move on. See, like right here where I am right now on the screen, it says, because man is no longer in the time of Cephas, meaning that which is established, like law. And it says, but in the time of Cosmin, it says, henceforth outer realm attainments cannot form around inner deficiencies and be long sustained, nor outer realm deficiencies around true inner realm attainments. So it's like, just like Jesus Christ said, he said, first clean the inside of the cup. Remember? Remember that parable? That's what that parable mean now. See, it's like, I really give thanks, man, because I can see the OAHSPE, it really opens up the scriptures, a lot of things, so that we can be free to elevate. Let me see. So I'm gonna close. Let me see. I'm gonna close that. I'm gonna end that reading. I'm gonna pick up on it tomorrow. I'm gonna do more on it tomorrow. I'm gonna just stay with it to see how I'm gonna try to get as much as I can out of it. Let me go back to the room and read the chats. See, Dave says, okay, Tablet Simone, giving the eye hands, YouTube. Yeah, I read that. I read that. Ace Knopf said, that makes sense. Languages were the first thing destroyed. Okay, yeah. It's ziggurat. Yeah. Words have power. In the beginning, the word was God. All right. So I'm gonna let that be the conclusion of the reading. I'm still kind of choppy on it. Actually, it's been put on my it's been on my heart to learn how to read the the tables, the tablets, and it's gonna be a slow process, man. That's gonna be a it's gonna be a little tough, man. But I think that there's a great benefit behind reading those tablets. I think that they were given to us for a reason. And the potency of empathagu got to seems to say that there's a great revelation in understanding that. Tonight I talked a little bit about the solar phalanx, the serpent, and the OAHSPE has a map. I mean, basically, man, you know, it shows the cyclical nature of reality. The cyclical nature of reality. And I'm not up to speed enough to know what April 8th means. It seems to me a time of war, but man, I know the OAHSPE. It makes it clear what that time means. Man, oh man, oh my goodness, it's like too much good food, man. Way too much good food. But anyway, just to summarize, it seems to say that empatha empatha empa the potency of em, I'm trying to cheat and go back to the emp'agatu. The potency of emp'agatu is how the creator he puts a spirit in man to decipher, to create words, to elevate him in his language and his wording, to give him, like the Bible says, spirit taught words that will draw us closer. Already there's a gulf. There's a great gulf, man, between brethren, between religion, and between faithists. You brethren, I hope you can see it, man. There's a gulf. There is a gulf. You know, I want to say something. I'm going to share something real quick. I'm going to close the video in case unless somebody wants to come on and share a word. Now, I invited a brother. I ain't going to say who he is. I hope he's listening. So he'll come on. Now, I invited a brother. I found his channel by accident. He was speaking esoterically, and I was encouraged. You know, and I think what happened is he tapped in. See, some men, they can tap into an area. They can tap into a spirit that's in people who feel that they're left out, forgotten of God, lonely. Some men can do that. They start opening their mouth and they tap into an area, a weak spot of people. And then he make them feel special, and then people get behind him. And so I was listening to that video, and I said, all right, man, you know, the guy he's speaking esoterically, you know, what he's saying, it lines up with the OAHSPE even. He was talking in line with the OAHSPE. Now, I did notice that he would not mention the creator's name. He didn't mention the wording, but I felt like, well, you know, there are brethren in the world who they are like naturally, they are outfitted with the right DNA to come right into the faithists, you know. And so I sent him an invitation. I said, hey, man, look, you know, all you need to do is be plugged in. Why don't you come over and join us? Join me on my video. join me in my room. Let's have fellowship so I can get you plugged in, In other words, so I can add to your understanding. Because you're talking esoterically. A lot of people are hearing you. And I was saying secretly to myself, let me see if he wants to really elevate according to knowledge, or does he want his own little kingdom? Because guys are like that. Once they get their own, they get their own kingdom, and they will not let it go. They don't want nobody coming around exposing them. They want to be Lord. And to me, it explained the false gods a little bit. How you can have that knowledge, and then you would turn on the creator. You would turn on the creator. I'm telling you, man, I can't get over that. That's what scare me about spirituality. It's like you would get all that knowledge, and then you would turn on the creator. And it's kind of painful to learn that type of stuff, man, because here we in this reality. We want to do what's right, man. We want to leave the world. We want to elevate. Only come to find out that there are those who went before us. They got the knowledge. They elevate. They got all the way up to godhood, man. And they fell. To be honest with you, that really, that's a body blow, man. They got all the way up there, and some of them fell. Went to hell. And, it drains you sometimes. I guess some things are good just not to think about, man, Just don't even think about it. But anyway, I don't know. That's it for me. That's the best I can do for today. I'm going to pick it up again tomorrow. I'm going to be on this for a little while, as with all the studies. I ain't going to just hit and run. I'm going to just flesh them out and see what the creator give. I think that redundancy is the best way to learn by far, man. That's what they do in the CIA and all the governmental agencies that have to do with the area of security and surveillance and, double, what do they call it? The something eight. What is it when you counter terrorism, counter whatever. They have to take all types of redundancy training, and that's how you get proficient, man. You get super proficient. So that's what I'm going to be sticking with subjects to see what the creator will give me. But that story that I was saying is that I invited the brother. He's got a small following, a couple few thousand, and he may love his kingdom so much he don't want to turn. He ain't gonna want to turn. That's how some brethren are. They want the love of people so much, man, that they won't turn. They will not. It's an amazing thing. Let me see what Dave says. He says, yeah, there you go. Ego starts to take control, man. Man, I'm telling you. And the individual falls away from creator and starts to work for themselves. You're right. That's very well said. I was listening to the brother. He was speaking esoterically. I commended him for it. I said, brother, there's a word for you out there if you're interested. Talking about the OAHSPE, and you can really set brethren free. I hear you talking about religion, talking about deception. That's all good. Telling people about the spiritual bankruptcy of the beast kingdom. Yeah, that's all good. Sound like you're onto something. But then when you tell them the word is over here, we got it over here, we're willing to share it with you, then all of a sudden we got a problem. See, now we got a problem. You want to hold on to your kingdom. You don't want nobody getting. It's like a guy, man. When if he can get a bunch of women under him, you know, deceive them. You know, he don't want nobody else coming around. You know, showing knowledge. You know, man, guys are funny, man. I shouldn't say that, but they are, man. They want it for themselves, man. They wow, man. Well, anyway, that's the best I can do for now. I'm gonna pick it up again tomorrow. So, um, if anybody wants to come in, say something, final word or anything, I'll give you about a minute, and then I'm gonna go ahead and close the video. And I'm gonna stay on the same subject tomorrow. But what is next week? Next week, last week before April 8th. I really think that looking at the confluence of events that the creator is lining up the nations for war. There's a lot of talk coming out of Russia. I'm telling you, Israel, they were recently told to stop it. They said we ain't going to stop it and ain't nobody going to do anything about it. And they got nuclear weapons. So we can't go on like this, brother. I'm sorry, man. But I sure do thank you, brother, for joining me, man. You bless my soul. Want to give thanks to Heavenly Father, Earthly Mother, for giving me this opportunity to be a light while I'm in this reality. Pray that you account all those brothers and sisters worthy to escape the things coming on the earth. And Heavenly Father willing, I'll see you again tomorrow. And until then, peace be unto you. Shalom.